Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. It's like to the Mizzou for Rainbow Speech. Mizzou 9 is talk about right here. The coloring activity right here is basically you see right here is I went and drew a picture right here. It's an example right here of a stadium. Of course, say with number 9 it is. You say with stadium it is, and then of course other things. Of course, more likely they could be say school related. It is. But right here is I went ahead and drew the details right here. I say of say the football players and. Anybody maybe think about, that, the details right here. But I can tell anybody here that I'm not really, I was not too much into football, but like the, president said about knowing about, it's like, never know if you like unless if you try it is. And knowing about that I can remember the president, making a speech it is those couple of years ago it was about talking about, it's like, for change it was, and on your hand, before it's like elect the president, but on your hand that you have right here, say an example right here, say got the football play, the football stadium right here. It's like say the stadium, and knowing about, I didn't add all the details, of course, from the other players it is, but basically that you have right here is that knowing about you got right here is a stadium, and of course say you got the bleachers, and of course right here is say example right here of me. I can say that that talking about with pictures, pictures that would more likely capture a certain moment it is, and keep thinking about, anybody maybe think about, well, no cameras are allowed on the stadium it is, or anything like that, but then of course sippy cups are allowed, or whichever it is, but I don't even know if really if my family and I and friend even went to a game there, but on the other hand too, that knowing about the details I went ahead and add right here, it's like so far as for rainbow colors it is, but you have right here is talking about, say, with the games, though, that I can tell anybody here that maybe one of the reasons to why I didn't, attend too many of the games was maybe because of the fact about, people kept, picking on me about how I play. And I can tell anybody here that a lot of times that was really the reason. So I decided just watch them play, whoever play it was, and knowing about from whichever team it was, and it's like you say with the St. Louis Cardinals or whichever team, but on the other hand too, that knowing about that the types of details, of course, adding for this coloring right here is talking about, it's like for a person, place, or thing it is, but knowing about that it's like so far as long as we're together it is, but other than that you have right here is like if family and friends, whoever, cousins, whoever, if we were all together, you say at the stadium it was, if the tickets were purchased, or if they were, you say if maybe won the tickets, or maybe that we were invited to the game, at some point it was, of knowing about that the types of details, of course, that you like to draw out, and like with me though, that keep thinking about, really, what is the difference really between a drawing, a creative art, and photos, and what you call that certain sports activity. And with anybody maybe thinking about, you say for number 9, let's talk about, say, with the person, place, or thing. Let's talk about draw out, of course, for what you can picture, of course, in your mind. Such as, if this was, to say, an example right here of me. If this was an example right here of me, you say, sitting at the bleachers it is, and anybody maybe think about that, really, did you do that by hand? Did you actually draw the details right here, say the eyebrows it was? It's like you draw details and know about, this was right here of me along with a friend, a few friends and of course family members it was. Did you do that by hand? Or did you use like what you call is like actual photo taking technology it is? The photo taking technology such as a camera, just to capture that certain event it was. And with anybody maybe think about that really, is this ever going to be published, of course, in the papers it is knowing about exactly about, maybe anybody maybe think about, what exactly did you have in your hand at the time it was. And I can like that, during that time, of course, a couple of times that maybe I was bored enough to the point where I went to a long daydream. I went into a long daydream, and I can tell anybody here that what do I usually daydream about whenever during events like that? I usually dream about, you say, maybe, trying to act like a show off, trying to think about something, maybe to to, you get my mind off of something else. I remember a lot of times in the cafeterias at the schools that a lot of times I would sometimes go into daydream if I'm around a lot of people that I don't even know, that a lot of times I would go into daydreams. It was anybody probably think about, yeah, daydreams help you, of course, take your mind, of course, maybe off of concentration. But I always a lot of times looked at it as like, well, so far as that, maybe for the ninth opinion it is, and knowing about that, it takes it pretty much means that you're taking your mind, of course, maybe off of the frustration, maybe the stress a little bit too, of knowing about that. If you're somewhere where, of course, that was a couple years ago, but anybody maybe think about, well, between if it's true or not. It's like talking about, were you really that bored during that time? And I'm like, well, a little bit. I was a little bit bored during that time because of the fact about, that like with anybody, but I think about between maybe watching TV, it is, and for whatever reason, though, that, anybody maybe think about between person, place, or thing, about talking about, say, with sports activities, it is, with any type of sports activities, that I'm not really a sports, fan team, and anybody maybe think about, maybe you don't have to be, knowing about that, really, is it all about the fact about maybe going out and enjoying yourself, going to a game, being with somebody else, maybe enjoying the popcorn, maybe enjoying the snacks and stuff that they have there at the stadium, and on the other hand too, to talk about between winning or losing, it is. And I did not draw any type of a football player in particular, but let's just say that with most sports, I can tell anybody, even kids too, that knowing about that you like football. Well, that's good. Like, it's as long as you can handle it, but I'm not really a football fan, and I can tell anybody here that maybe one of the reasons maybe why I did not get into football was the fact, like I mentioned before, about people a lot of times, other players, didn't like me playing on their team. It was, and on the other hand too, I just think that it was just too hard. And with anybody, teacher, president, whoever it is, congressman would probably think about that. Just because something is too hard, that don't really mean that you should not try at all, or you're not allowed to try. You were suspended from it, whichever it is. And I could tell anybody here that with like type of sports activities though, that especially maybe watching it and like on an HD TV or something like that, and I could tell anybody here that I think drawing activities like this, drawing out whatever you could picture in your mind, is a little bit more exciting compared to maybe if you win or lose. And that's just my honest opinion. And I could tell anybody that being able to draw out for what I picture in my mind is usually what I do. And compared to what you call that, maybe going to a game and then find out that the team that you came there for, if they win or lose, or they almost lost or something like that, and talk about these moments, of course, that were, of course, that I went ahead and drew right here. And anybody maybe think about this may not be what you call as an actual photograph, but it's a drawing. It's a drawing that was done by me, but on your hand too, that knowing about that these are players, of course, these are, you say, photos, of course, that I went ahead and drew, say, using no paint or nothing, but crayons and of course markers it is, but type of writing utensils. And anybody maybe think about, if you want to go ahead and draw an example of maybe a football player, out there on the field, use a pen, it is. It's like, say, maybe within a matter of seconds, it is. All in a matter of seconds. Like right here, you got the football player, and then right here, I'm like, and then they just want to wear that, the uniforms it is, and it's like, and then with the uniform, I'll again go ahead and maybe put like, for number 9. I don't know, I don't know what colors that they usually go by, but go ahead and just put like, say, number 9 or something like that. But right here, here's a football player, and anybody maybe think about, how'd you do that? And who's that supposed to be? Well, it's all a matter of, it's like for the talents, of course, is knowing about, for what you can picture, of course, in your mind. about, you know, it's like this football player right here, of knowing about, you know, how well that they can catch the ball. It is, you know, how well they can catch the ball. How well can they catch the ball? It's knowing about that they see it coming, and then, you know, if they use both hands or something like that. But on the other hand too, you got right there is with the pen, and of course, you know, work with the green pen right here, add some details right there. But other than that, really, there's a teenage kid, you know, whichever it is, I'm like, yeah, that say football may not be for everybody, but on the other hand too, that knowing about, it's like, you know, for what you picture, of course, in your mind, you know, is that what you call considered a waste of time? Is that considered what you call, it's like you know, something that's not a noun? You know, it's not a person, place, or thing. It's just something that completely, you say, is just has nothing to do with this whole thing about this whole activity. But on the other hand too, that knowing about, anybody maybe think about the whole part about knowing about, you know, the things, of course, the skills, of course, that we can do. It's talking about being a part, say, of the group. It is knowing about right here is so far as between studying, of course, you say working on our majors and stuff, reading books and stuff, of knowing about, yeah, as I talk about right here, you say for what we can remember, and of course, like to talk about, say, the type of entertainment, of course, that we see it is. But all right, and that is talk about right here. So far as the rainbow speech, you say coloring, say Mizzou. So far as, you know, for number 9. As I talk about right here, is like a, you know, for rainbow speech Mizzou. So far as number 9 color activity.